Your refrigerator, a modern necessity trusted to preserve food and health, might be silently accelerating aging, inflammation, and chronic disease risk. A 2023 study in the Journal of Food Science found that refrigerating certain common foods triggers chemical reactions that degrade nutrients and generate harmful compounds, some linked to a 34% higher risk of metabolic disorders. Yet, 89% of households unknowingly store at least 3 of these dangerous items daily. We assume refrigeration universally protects food, slowing spoilage, locking in freshness. But peer-reviewed research from the University of California reveals that temperature-sensitive foods undergo molecular destabilization in the fridge, leaching toxins and losing up to 60% of their antioxidant capacity within days. Recent studies further confirm that some foods undergo dangerous transformations under refrigeration, chemical shifts so drastic they reverse their health benefits entirely. The science points to a hidden pattern. Temperature isn't just about freshness. It's a trigger for molecular breakdowns that standard nutrition labels never mention. Even more unsettling, the worst offenders are items most people assume are safer when chilled. Number 1 on our list, in particular, sits in nearly every fridge. Its effects only detectable through specialized lab tests, not taste or smell. But the most critical insight comes from a Johns Hopkins study. One commonly refrigerated health food doubles the absorption rate of heavy metals like cadmium and lead when chilled, toxins directly linked to neurodegenerative decline. The FDA has no warning label for it yet. Today, you'll discover the 7 deadly foods you must remove from your fridge immediately, backed by clinical studies from Mayo Clinic and WHO. This isn't just about food storage. It's about reversing oxidative stress, gut damage, and systemic inflammation tied to long-term disease. Your first fix takes less than 30 seconds. Like this video if you're curious to know about our top 7 picks especially. Number 1 on our list. Comment fridge check below and share where you're watching from. This knowledge could save your family's health. Let's start with number 7 on the list. The food you likely ate this week, never suspecting its transformation into a silent health threat. 7. Potatoes. When potatoes are placed in cold environments like the refrigerator, their natural starches convert into simple sugars at an accelerated rate, a reaction that seems harmless at first. But according to the Food Standards Agency, these sugars, once exposed to high cooking temperatures such as frying or roasting, interact with amino acids to form acrylamide, a chemical linked to nerve damage and potential cancer risk. This seemingly invisible transformation intensifies when elderly individuals, already at higher risk for oxidative stress, unknowingly consume these high acrylamide meals. Potatoes stored at room temperature in dark, dry conditions retain their complex carbohydrate integrity and drastically reduce acrylamide formation. Unlike refrigerated potatoes, pantry-stored ones also maintain their firmness and natural resistance to spoilage. The risk, then, doesn't lie in the potato itself, but in where it sleeps before it's cooked. And yet, the story doesn't end there. What happens when we refrigerate foods that depend on precise enzyme activity to remain nutritious? 6. Tomatoes. A study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry revealed that refrigeration causes a significant drop in both lycopene concentration and aromatic volatile compounds in tomatoes, stripping them of their antioxidant and flavor-rich profile. These compounds degrade quickly when exposed to cold temperatures below 10 degrees Celsius, leaving behind a mealy, flavorless, nutritionally deficient shell. For older adults, whose antioxidant defenses are already declining, this means losing a critical dietary ally. Lycopene has been directly linked to reduced cardiovascular and prostate cancer risks, but only when tomatoes are stored correctly. Surprisingly, room-stored tomatoes not only retain this potent compound, but may also increase in bioavailability as ripening enzymes complete their natural cycle. Yet, most households continue refrigerating them, believing it's safer. The real cost isn't taste, it's lost defense. And still, the silent erosion of beneficial compounds doesn't stop with fruits. What happens when we cold store a food that was designed to defend itself naturally, without our help? 5. Honey. Most people instinctively refrigerate honey, believing it prevents spoilage. But honey, when chilled, begins to crystallize rapidly, a gritty transformation that not only makes it harder to use, but subtly undermines its enzymatic health benefits. According to the National Honey Board, refrigeration leads to the premature degradation of glucose oxidase, the enzyme responsible for honey's natural antimicrobial activity. For seniors who rely on raw honey for immune support, sore throats, or blood sugar modulation, this means reduced potency and diminished therapeutic effect. Unprocessed honey is self-preserving at room temperature due to its low moisture content and acidity, qualities that make cold storage unnecessary and counterproductive. Its degradation is slow at room temperature but accelerates in cold due to molecular separation. And while most assume refrigeration extends shelf life, in this case, it does the exact opposite. 4. Garlic and onions. Garlic and onions contain delicate sulfur-based compounds that degrade quickly under moist or humid conditions. When stored in refrigerators, they are exposed to elevated humidity levels, promoting mold growth, especially Aspergillus species, which can release mycotoxins. This is especially dangerous for older adults with compromised immunity. According to research from the University of California, Davis, cold storing garlic reduces its allicin concentration, a compound crucial for blood pressure regulation, immune support, and antimicrobial defense. Similarly, onions become softer due to cellular breakdown in cold storage, rapidly losing quercetin and other bioflavonoids essential for vascular health. Room temperature storage in mesh baskets promotes air circulation, reducing the risk of sprouting and mold. Still, many unknowingly sacrifice their functional benefits for perceived freshness. And the worst part? The most common refrigerated food in households might be carrying not just mold, but metals. 3. Bread. Refrigerating bread accelerates retrogradation, a process where starch molecules crystallize, making it stale faster despite feeling deceptively fresh. A study in carbohydrate polymers found that chilled bread loses 30% of its softness within 24 hours compared to room temperature storage. Worse, the fridge's humidity encourages penicillium mold spores to proliferate. These are invisible until colonies form. Freezing is the safer alternative for long-term storage, as sub-zero temperatures halt mold growth without altering texture as drastically. Yet, even freezing has a caveat. Improper wrapping leads to freezer burn, another form of degradation most don't anticipate. 2. Coffee beans. The Journal of Food Chemistry warns that fridge moisture breaks down terpenes, the compounds responsible for coffee's aroma and flavor. Chilling beans also makes them absorb odors from nearby foods. A 2021 study found that coffee stored beside onions developed detectable off flavors in just 48 hours. While some argue airtight containers mitigate this, the condensation that forms when removing beans from the fridge introduces water, the enemy of freshness. The solution is simple. Store beans in a cool, dark pantry in an opaque, vacuum-sealed container. But this raises another question. If not the fridge, how do you preserve beans for extended periods without sacrificing quality? 1. Olive oil. Cold temperatures cause hydrolysis, breaking down olive oil's healthy polyphenol into less beneficial compounds. Research from the University of California, Davis, shows that repeated temperature fluctuations, like taking oil in and out of the fridge, oxidize it 40% faster, reducing oleocanthal, its potent anti-inflammatory agent. The cloudy appearance in chilled olive oil is harmless, but the real danger lies in the cumulative damage from inconsistent storage. Dark glass bottles in a pantry maintain stability, yet most consumers overlook the role of light exposure in degradation. Even the bottle's material can accelerate spoilage if it's not UV protected. To add up, a food microbiology study revealed that Bacillus cereus spores survive cooking and proliferate in refrigerated rice, producing toxins that reheating won't destroy. Leftovers stored beyond 12 hours risk food poisoning, with symptoms often mistaken for stomach flu. Freezing immediately after cooking is the expert-recommended solution, but this contradicts the common practice of refrigerating rice for quick meals. The deeper issue is, most assume all bacteria die in the fridge, but some pathogens enter a dormant state, reactivating when heated. Storing bread, coffee beans, olive oil, or cooked rice in the fridge undermines their safety and nutritional value. Science shows these foods degrade faster or become hazardous under refrigeration. The key is recognizing that preservation isn't one size fits all. Each food demands specific conditions. Start by removing these items from your fridge today and observe the difference in flavor and freshness. If you made it this far, you're clearly committed to your health. Subscribe so you never miss these critical insights. Drop a comment sharing which surprise shocked you most and where you're watching from. Thank you for investing in your health. Your future self will thank you.